right, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about domestic and international strategies. This presentation has been put together by Gabe Gomez as well as by me, Sean Bentley. We are going to basically be reviewing the last few weeks and everything we've learned in this class and helping us to really kind of cement in our minds the difference between domestic and international strategies. So we're going to share a lot of the best practices and things we've been reading and hearing from Professor Boehm, and making sure that we understand that, honestly, I think the best thing he ever told us was that assume everything is different when you're going to do, if you want to enter another market and go internationally. So we just got to re-question everything, rethink about your strategy, think about the market, think about the culture. So that's kind of the basis for today's video, and we hope you get to learn something new. All right. So first thing you need to understand is that one size doesn't fit all. Success at home doesn't equate to success abroad. Due diligence needs to be done thoroughly. You need to consider multiple factors from both competitors to the local market to the customer cultural taste. You need to understand the risk involved, which can be legal, political, and like I said, consumer taste and preferences. So really just make sure the first thing you think is, I need to do my due diligence. Also, one needs to understand how they approach entry into a market, as this will also have much to do with the strategy employed. For instance, an exporter-only strategy versus a WOFE would be vastly different. An exporter would consider things like branding, distribution channel, last mile delivery, and local taste, whereas a WOFE would not only need to consider aspects pertaining to the exporter strategy, but also need to think about other regulatory items, employees, office, and warehouse space, and a few. Just as one's investment increases into the national market, so does the amount of due diligence need to increase. This also hopefully looks familiar to you. This is what we call the SWOT analysis, which stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. And this will give you a good idea of your particular business, really good insight to obviously what your strengths are, what your good weaknesses, maybe perhaps what your business, their businesses are doing better than you, opportunities for you to take advantage of, and then threats. Kind of similar is what we call the Porter's 5 forces. And this is very important because this can help you get an idea of the markets, not just your business, but kind of how customer preferences are. Do they, the threat of new entrants, threat of substitutes, bargaining power of suppliers, industry rivalry, and you need to take both Porter's 5 forces and the SWOT analysis and do them both for your domestic business as well as if you're going to enter into an international country. You need to understand that these actually may turn out very differently, even though you did a complete analysis domestically. That you might find out that it may be very different from that. So make sure you do both of these when entering a different market. This one, obviously, we can't state enough, where you just need to do the importance of due diligence. You understand there's different rules. We're going to have different markets. There's different consumers. We have different tastes, and there's going to be different risks. But this all needs to be in context of a culture, marketplace, and legal system which one is accustomed to operating within. If these were to change, then the company strategy would need to change along with it. This is what occurs when a company enters an international market. Fortunately, the same framework previously discussed, the SWOT analysis and the Porter's 5 forces can be used, but the context will be vastly different as things like culture and legal system need to be considered alongside the framework. You'll see in the examples to follow that oftentimes companies will do some of the obvious things, like have the financing and the capital involved. They'll get a good understanding of maybe some of the legal framework and how to get the product there and get hold of a freight forwarder. But something that's most oftenly overlooked is just the cultural aspect. You just don't understand that maybe people don't like the same products or services that they provide, or at least not the way that they think they do. So here you're going to see a few examples of how it all went wrong, we'll call it. First one is Starbucks fails in Australia. In 2000, the chain entered the market thinking that Australians were indeed very like Americans when it came to their coffee drinking habits. So Starbucks failed to realize the strong preference for local coffee shops and entered the market with a price point that was too much for Australians to pay. And then in 2014, they exited the market by selling their remaining stores to the operators of a local 7-Eleven chain. Target. Target invested billions in Canada into its Canada expansion. Target failed to perform its due diligence regarding securing a reliable supply chain and couldn't keep items in stock. There was also established competitors in the market such as Walmart and Loblaws. Target also failed to understand the Canadian customer, who is influenced not just by US but also from Europe, and their buying habits are closer to that of Europe. So Target liquidated their stores, and 133 of their stores, by the way, after several years of trying. Home Depot in 2006 thought the timing was right to enter the Chinese market and open 12 stores. After all the countries amid a growth spurt, and the housing market was booming in China. What Home Depot failed to understand is that Chinese people see do-it-yourself projects as a sign of poverty. Home Depot has struggled with this in other developing countries as well. Do-it-yourself is viewed as similarly, as opposed to the U.S., where it's more like a hobby and it has grown quite well. So in 2012, because they didn't understand this difference in the cultural difference in do-it-yourself, they had to exit China and shut down all their stores. So like, again, you're going to see that, a lot of the common failures is they have, they think because they have an idea of the capital that's going to take them to get there, and they think they understand the legal risks, but they don't understand the big and major cultural disconnects and a lack of understanding of supply chain and other logistical issues. You think these big companies would have the understanding of all these things because they do so well here domestically, these companies in the United States, that they can do well in different countries, but you can see that that isn't the same. But it doesn't mean they couldn't succeed. It usually just means maybe they could have just changed their strategy a little bit, understand the fire forces and the SWOT analysis to kind of adjust their strategy and be successful elsewhere. So this is where we're going to make some recommendations, is to not do it yourself. We've talked about U.S. embassies and the variety of federal resources that are provided, as well as within, if you're in the United States, your state and local resources from economic development, chambers of commerce. Many of these are they're free and available to you easily. Also, we would recommend going to the private sector, obviously consultants, those who are specialized in this area, who have experience. So also lawyers, industry associations, peers, networks, and the internet. Just assume that you're going to have to do a lot of research. Nothing is going to be easy. So a lot of the troubles can be avoided just by doing these due diligence and asking around and using some of the resources available to you. We'd also like to talk about just what Dr. Boehm has talked about. When entering market, you should ask yourself a couple of questions. What is the market potential? Not population, but how is disposable income look like? Demand is desire with disposable income available to make the purchase. What is the marketing access? Can I get the product in? What are the barriers to trade? These are all extra legal as well as legal. Understanding shipping costs and time, and not as tough as we think using freight forwarders, but it's expensive, is the last mile, and that's usually what you got to consider the most, is how you're going to get it to, not just from the country, but to your store or to the customer. Think about potential competition, both foreign and domestic, total competition. You got to think about service requirements. Does it require for your product to have service? Do you have your repair shops, and what kind of maintenance is required? Is it disposable? How do you get rid of it? Is it disposable? And is the product cheap, or is the service expensive? Does the product fit? To what degree must the product be modified to fit the local requirements? And then think about distribution issues, not just about getting the product into the market, but then get the market to the hands of customers, like I said before. So there's a lot to think about, and this is a great framework that if you're entering into market, just say, hey, these are questions we've got to be experts on before we do this. So in conclusion here, just want to say no one strategy works both in domestic or international. I'm not saying it can't, but just assume it doesn't. Because there are to be differences between your domestic and international strategy. Understand your company's risk profile, what kind of risk if you're taking domestically, is the risk you're taking internationally more? And then you need to really consider, are you really willing to take an extra risk for this? The factors influencing strategy will be different. Leverage the various frameworks, enlist outside help, be open and willing to course correct, and do not skimp on the due diligence. That's it for today. I hope you guys learned something new, and we look forward to seeing your comments and responding to them. Thank you.